Hey, buddy, it's Bob with Trade Genius. Got my good friend Phil here. What a 2 week period of time we had. I'm going to show you a chart that you would never, ever, ever expect to see in a million years. And then, by popular request, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the remarkable moves it's making and will make over the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned.
Trade Genius.
Okay, Phil, I'm going to turn Bitcoin loose on you. Throw up this chart. This is absolutely hilarious. So the mayor of Chicago, one of the most liberal cities in the United States, he went ahead and requested a $300 million property tax increase to fund his programs. It was voted down 50 to nothing. Now, you remember, there's probably like 5 Republicans in the whole entire city of Chicago. Talk about a change in the mood of the country, that people are like, we're done with socialism. So expect to see more bizarre things as we go through the next 12 to 24 months, Phil. It's going to be wild. And speaking of wild, let's talk Bitcoin, because, man, I've been trading the proxies and it's been life-altering money, and the Bitcoin move is no joke.
No, it's not. And, along with all those changes, now we've got a very pro-crypto administration coming in, and Bitcoin sniffing it out and pricing it in. And we always are, bemoaning FUD cycles. Well, this is like the anti-FUD cycle, because every single headline seems to be just pro-crypto and very bullish for everything. We just had a new, Senator Loomis, I think, introduced a bill for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I think that officially went in. So, there's just a ton of good news. Now, the timing on that's really good, because we're going into a wave 5, so it's just really going to blow off, I feel now. And basically, we'll look at what the charts are doing first here, and then we'll talk about where we're going. So we ran up. Obviously, we broke out of this big multi-month range that we've been building in, and we finally broke out. So in terms of like Bitcoin, you never want to short a huge multi-month breakout. Just don't want to do that, especially post-halving. Why we kind of gyrated up here is because we hit the moving average band. So we have these moving average bands based on the 20 weighted moving average. Anytime you get to this upper band, which is a certain percentage of the moving average overhead, you're just extremely stretched. I mean, I can show you guys before, like whenever you touch it, it usually puts the brakes on the price action. Just you stop. It doesn't mean that the move is over. It just means you're just too stretched. You can see it here too. You hit it and you take a break, right? That's all we're doing, is taking a break. And we're in these big pump phases now that you can see back here. And so basically, whenever you poke your head over it, you just expect to take a break. And so that's all that happened here recently. And now we're back on to another bid going into the weekend. Weekends, I expect to be very bullish. We've already had a couple major gap ups, meaning that the weekend's pumped over the CME close. And then when the CME reopens on Sunday night, all of a sudden there's this huge gap in the charts because they're not trading over the weekend. Typically those fill, but not in this phase. They don't fill. We'll get probably a couple more of those. Those might fill, but the ones that started to move off down below, and I think we had another one a couple weeks ago, those typically will stay unfilled until the cycle is done. So then the question is, Bob, where is the cycle going to go? Keep in mind, things are going to get super volatile. What used to be a $3,000 or $4,000 pullback is going to be a $7,000 or $8,000 pullback now, right? We're dealing with way bigger numbers now all of a sudden. Obviously, we're trading up at about 91,450. I think the road to 100K is on the way, and I don't think we're going to stop at 100K. I think we're going to blow right through it personally once we get up there. Who knows? It could be this weekend. You could have just a giant gap higher. Things are going to get really stupid. You have to remember, like, look at what happened in 2017 or February of 2021. I mean, the moves were just dumb, right? Just dumb. So, this is 2017 stuff, parabolic chart, and, the moves were just huge, huge, huge. So I think we're going to see something similar, maybe even more grandiose than what we had in those examples. And it's going to be very, very bullish, and you can't short it, but all you can do is just hold your nose, get long, and hang on for the ride. Now, in terms of where this thing is headed, I will go over to the pi cycle chart. This does a pretty good job of nailing the cycle tops and bottoms, so no need to reinvent the wheel there. The next line is the 365-day times 2. 365-day simple moving average, and then you multiply it by 2. That's what this red line is. Currently, that is at 119,000 and going up by the day. We're going to catch up to that because that's what we do when we go parabolic. Okay, and did it here, we did it back here, and then when you get over it, that's when the afterburners kick in. So that's why when we have these ranges we've talked about in prior videos of 150, 170, you might even see 200 grand in this cycle because it happens so quickly, and people can't fathom that. But price when Bitcoin goes parabolic, there's nothing like it. So that's the next destination up here is in. I don't know when we're going to intersect it, but the sooner we intersect it, the closer we'll be to 120. If it takes a little while longer, then this line's going to go up. Maybe we intersect it at 125 or something like that. In terms of like the price in which we're going to cycle out at, one thing you can do is look at what's worked in the past a number of times is when you measure the bear market range. So this was our last bear market right at the end of 2022. If you measure that range and you throw a 618 fib extension on it using a logarithmic chart, that measurement has given us our cycle targets on the previous cycles. So that tells us that we could expect almost $174,000, Bob, on this one based on the Coinbase chart. Now, why that would be plausible, I will take you over to the cycle repeat chart. Now, all this is doing is just taking a look at previous cycles and projecting what price would do based on previous cycles. If you look at kind of what we've done, I'm basing this off of November 4th as a cycle high, we've kind of tracked price, right? And now we're really starting to track price. So if we zoom in here, we're starting to follow this right along. So what that implies is that over the next couple of weeks, we could see extremely radical price movement. This would imply that by December 4th, we're seeing $150,000, Bob. So we're looking for this to kind of happen. We got basically what it's saying is we got a little chop action here, and then starting next week or beginning on the 20th, you would see a very, very aggressive move higher. Then a pullback right into the end of the year, and then that final rally up into the inauguration. And that's where you could possibly see a blow off. That would be the blow off of the blow off up at 220. So we'll see if that plays out the same. Maybe all we get is this move, and then that's it. And then it's a lower high at the end of the day. But I find it that, pretty interesting that we're tracking the cycle repeat, which makes sense because we do tend to move at the same areas after the halving event. So it just giving you like the new numbers now with the higher numbers, we could see potentially a move up to that 150 mark. So we'll see if that plays out over the next couple of weeks. Again, I think it's all plausible because when Bitcoin gets into this mode, the moves are just so fast that it's hard to keep up.
And if you look at the leverage that like MicroStrategy has or Wolf or CleanSpark, you're looking, if Bitcoin does do a double from here, which really what we're saying is that you're looking at probably MicroStrategy at $1,400, and what's interesting, your Confluent to moving average hit my ABC move, Phil, at 94K. And then I have my next moving average is based on an inverted head and shoulders is at 121K. So we're both getting there using different methods, which is very, very positive because, we have confluence of ideas here. I mean, that alone would be absolutely an incredible move because, you're basically looking at potentially another 40% higher in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin just did a double, from the $49,000 low here. And, you're looking at, you guys, if you guys don't have Wolf or CleanSpark or BITO or Ybit or Square or MicroStrategy or Coinbase, you have to have some exposure somewhere if you don't have Bitcoin itself, because all those guys are leveraged to Bitcoin. Oh, and also ARC. So all those guys have leverage to Bitcoin, and more companies by the day are announcing. Remember what it used to be before it was, remember those stupid things they did when, with paint a picture kind of a thing with Bitcoin. I forget what it was already. Everybody had that in their name, and now everybody's going to have Bitcoin Treasury in their name. So I forget what those were, Phil. Remember the thing where you could take a picture and you blockchain it?
NFTs or
NFTs. That's what an indelible market made on my mind. So now everybody's gonna have Bitcoin depositories on their balance sheet to lift price. It's a depository before it becomes a suppository. If it gets to 170, comes right back down again, the board's going to look pretty stupid. But the only point I'll make, Phil, is that we've been catching these moves. I mean, we're talking life. Tomorrow, we'll show you some of the attaboys, some of the moves that we've made here over the last couple of weeks, since a week before the election to now. And it's just, we have another probably 6 to 10 weeks of this price action in the whole Bitcoin complex. And then I think, on the reversal side, coming off the inauguration, there's going to be some great trades the other way too. So I think we're positioned either way, Phil. Thanks for the update. This thing is so mathematical. And remember, guys, the longer the consolidation, the more violent the move up higher is when we go. And, and this is the kind of violence that I am accepting. So see you guys tomorrow. Check out our specials, Black Friday specials, tradelikeagenius.com. A lot of people are coming over. We got the algorithms, we got the tools, we got the room. And I think you have a lot of fun and exciting times, and you're going to make some money. You're going to learn a lot. With that, Phil, I'll catch you tomorrow.
See you later.
Trade Genius.